Welcome! You've made it to Mind the Gap. My name is C. Thank you so much for everybody who has been following and interacting. I just can't believe the outpouring of support. And so I wanted to give you kind of a more official list of the topics that we're going to cover. Black Lives Matter and becoming anti-racist, running for office, especially women, and great organizations like Run for Something. Growing up in an evangelical world and in the world of homeschooling, and we'll be touching on purity culture a lot, domestic violence awareness, and the pro-choice movement. So let's get into answering the question that I asked in the first episode. When I asked the question, what radicalized you? I spoke with someone who talked about leaving the church. So I'm going to read it word for word. I never liked the thing about women having to be submissive or having to act feminine or about not being gay. My first crush on a woman at 14 was probably a big factor, but I didn't have my turning point until age 19 during summer missions in El Salvador. The people we were trying to reach needed food, toothbrushes, medical care, etc. The message of the gospel seemed about as meaningful as a chain letter and less useful. Even after all of the shaming from a sexuality standpoint, it was that mission trip and realizing that people needed something completely different that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back for this person. That's tough to talk about, and I definitely appreciate those of you who gave me permission to share what you had to say. This next response to me was pure poetry. What was the straw that broke the camel's back? There wasn't one straw, or even hundreds. The camel could have carried more, if I'm being honest. But the camel had seen each of its friends married young and ride off into the sunset of babies and Pinterest homes and being uninterested in such things. The camel went to church one day and discovered she had no peers. The adults were all marrieds and college students, and if not that, then desperately seeking to no longer be her kind of camel. Camel could have looked too. Camel could have conformed like she was good at. Camel could have carried much more before it broke her. But Camel missed an important caravan and got a chance to see what this world was like when you no longer have a place you easily fit in it. Camel didn't break, never turned away with a swish of her camel cape, especially tailored, I imagine. Camel just let the caravan move along without her. Put down the straw she never questioned why she was carrying. Moved along on her own out into other parts of the world, much, much wider and full of more wondrous creatures than you can find in just that desert the old caravan would walk circles in anyway. Her name is Joy. I spoke with a lot of religious trauma survivors and people who experience sexual assault within the church and who are still recovering from purity culture. I actually bonded with a lot of people too who have been through radicalization experiences who are skin cancer survivors, and I'm a skin cancer survivor, and they're cat lovers and I'm a cat lover. I got my first YouTube comment, which was a thrill, and it was a guy in the UK explaining what feminism is and how dangerous it is, and how words like misogyny and mansplaining and the patriarchy are damaging to the world and it's falling apart because of these vocabulary words. And I wrote him back and I said, "You're my first YouTube comment. Thank you so much. I'll save it forever." And he wrote back so seriously and said, "I hope that I helped you figure it all out." Thanks, men. I'm so glad you're always there for us. As you know, our show is Mind the Gap. This comment says, "The gap in the upper front teeth has numerous benefits. It is a fused teeth instead of one. You don't even have to floss. It's sexy. Even Madonna has it. Leah Seydoux has it. William Dafoe has it. A gap is sexy in the teeth." For next time, I'm interested in knowing who your favorite in real life feminist is. I appreciate all of the cheer and goodwill and the trust that you've put in me. Thanks for watching. Bye. Mind the gap.